Welcome back to the channel. My name is Jeremiah, and in this video, I'm going to be discussing 12 things I wish I knew before purchasing my Tesla Model 3, ranging from small bits of information that would have just improved my overall ownership to, my God, I wish someone had told me this sooner. So let's get into it. Also, thank you to Masterworks for sponsoring this video, but more on them later. So the very first thing I wish I had known before I purchased is Supercharging is just as expensive as gas, or around the same price. Gas in my area, on average, is between $2.50 to $3 per gallon, and my local supercharging is 36 cents per kilowatt hour. The gas car in my household is a 2019 Toyota Corolla, which has roughly a 13-gallon tank. So a full tank will range from $33 to $39. My Model 3 is a performance, so it has roughly an 82 kilowatt hour battery, so $29.50 to go from 0 to 100% at my local supercharger. Not far off what gas costs. When I tell people how much it costs to supercharge from 0 to 100%, they're kind of disappointed to hear because it's not too far off of what they themselves would pay to fill up their tank. It's not until I mention that at home, where their real savings is, that their jaw drops. Next up, number 2, maintenance. It's pretty common knowledge that Teslas and most EVs have very little maintenance, thus leading to more savings. However, this is not true for tires. Heavy battery plus very fun and addictive acceleration equals terrible tire life. You should honestly expect about 25 to 50% less miles per set of tires. I've seen people having to replace on a brand new purchased Tesla with brand new tires at 15 to 20,000 miles. Now, of course, you can prolong the inevitable downfall of your tires by driving in something like chill mode and using your big toe for accelerating from a stop. But I paid for the whole accelerator, so I'm going to use the whole accelerator. Tesla manufactured tires, which is what most people get because they have foam in them for dampening road noise, will run you around $1,000+ per set. And that's just the base ones, like the ones that come on the normal 18-inch Aero wheels. If you're looking at higher tier tires, like PS4Ss or PSASs, that's even more expensive. So some of the savings that I am getting because I drive an EV, I do now put back toward tires. Now I'm gonna throw in a little bonus right here. Let's just call it 2.5. Make sure you have a $0 deductible glass coverage thingy for your insurance. Some states, like mine, have this by default, but if yours doesn't, add it. The entire top part of the car is glass, and getting it repaired when you get a chip is very costly. I believe the windshield alone is $800 to $1,000, and you might pay an extra $6 to $12 for the $0 deductible glass insurance. So yeah, it's well worth its money. Now, for number 3, registration is expensive. As some of you know, a lot of the money that's used toward road work or repairs or just the road in general comes from people buying gas. And just because you bought an EV doesn't mean you're gonna get out of paying your fair share. Or at least that's how some states are starting to see it. Texas, for example, is adding a $200 per year registration fee/tax for electric vehicles. California has something similar. My last registration cost me roughly $700. Now, as far as I know, my state does not and is not currently planning on implementing an EV road tax, but I do pay motor vehicle property tax. And more than likely, if your state doesn't have a form of a motor vehicle property tax, then they will be adding an electric vehicle road tax. So yeah, just be prepared for pretty expensive registration. Next up, winter range and how bad it can really be. I had heard that the range during the winter, when it was really cold, would be worse, but I kind of just ignored it and thought, well, it couldn't be that bad. Well, I'm here to tell you it can be that bad. On days where it's under freezing out, I will average 50 to 60% of my EPA estimated range. 50%. That takes my car from 300 miles to 150 miles. Thankfully, I work from home, so range has never really been too big of a problem, but I just wish that I had known this because the first few weeks were pretty bad. I started preconditioning the car and efficiency got a little bit better, but at a certain point when it's just way too cold, it's not really gonna do much. So if you live in an area that experiences temps under freezing quite often or way under freezing, just be prepared and keep your car charged up a little bit more than what you normally would. Now, number 5, trickle charging is not enough and is very inconvenient. I purchased my Model 3 with the intent to only ever trickle charge. I worked from home and everything I needed was within 5 to 10 miles. So trickle charging was, on paper, enough for me. Now, because I set my charge limit to 50% because I was just trying to maximize battery degradation and longevity, I found that long impromptu trips were pretty much impossible without the use of DC fast charging. And if I just so happen to drive a lot one day, returning home with 10 to 20% battery, it would take me overnight and then some to get back up to just 50%. So while it did technically work for me because, well, I never got stranded with 0%, now that I have level 2 charging at home, it's completely changed the game. Having to always be conscious about my car's battery percentage and now never having to care is so nice. I really wish I had known how convenient level 2 charging was and had gotten it installed before I even took delivery. I've made a whole video on home charging that you can check out. The best options that won't break the bank. Next up, I wanted to throw this in because it's been a pretty popular topic lately. It's not so much of a I wish I had known this before I purchased, but more of a beware before you buy. Be entirely comfortable and content with the price you're paying and the features you're getting at delivery. Tesla is known for, has in the past, and probably will in the future, make random changes at a moment's notice. Like removing ultrasonic sensors, putting in a much faster AMD chip, and even dropping the price by tens of thousands of dollars, all just overnight. More than likely, you will not get a retrofit for the newer stuff, and you definitely won't get a refund. So whatever you're paying for your car and the features that it has at delivery, make sure you are content with. And if you just bought a new model, I get your frustration about the price cuts. But these are just the bumps in the road that I told you about. Tesla is the pack leader. It's simply setting the pace for the wider EV market. And follow me here, but if more people can now afford a Tesla, the better service owners can get across the board. Remember, this is a long-term plan. It's barely been 10 years since the Model S's were even released. We may have to practice a little bit of patience. The people I do feel bad for are the shareholders. I mean, even after the rally to start the year, Tesla is still down almost 50% in the last year. At its lowest, investors had lost about $700 billion in value, so they're still in the hole. But as many of my subscribers know, there's still other long-term investments with potential in the market, just maybe not in the market that you're thinking. I'm talking about contemporary art. That's right, Masterworks paid out over $25 million in total net returns to their investors, in what was essentially the worst year for investors since the 2008 financial crisis. If you weren't one of those lucky investors, don't fret. Masterworks is releasing new SEC qualified offerings on a regular basis. And don't let the 700,000 plus member list scare you. My subscribers get priority access to skip the wait list. Just click the link down in the description. Number 7, stop overcharging on road trips. Now, I've talked about this multiple times before, so I'm not going to get into the weeds. But it's always faster to make more stops charging at the lower end of your battery than less stops charging at the top end of your battery. When you put a destination into your Tesla and you need to make multiple supercharging stops, don't keep charging when it tells you that you can continue your trip. Tesla is trying to meticulously get you to each supercharger with around 10% so you charge faster and thus can get back on the road faster. Going from 10% to 50% is much faster than going from 40% to 80%. In my opinion, as long as the car tells you that you'll make it to your next stop with at least 5%, then you're good to go. I really wish I had known this because I wasted so much time and money overcharging because I had new owner range anxiety. I have a 2,000-mile road trip coming up that I will be recording, so make sure you check back on the channel in a few weeks to see how I road trip, or to see me road tripping the way that I'm telling you all to road trip. Now, speaking of superchargers, our next one, supercharging etiquette. The two most common types of superchargers are 150 and 250 kilowatts. You can easily tell by just clicking on said supercharger on your Tesla's infotainment screen. great. If it says 150, well, then you need to be mindful as 150s share power in pairs. If you look at the bottom of the supercharger, it will have a number followed by a letter. 1A, 1B, that's a pair. 2A, 2B, that's a pair, so on and so forth. If there is someone already at a pair that you're pulling into, then both you and that someone else will be hard split down the middle at 72 kilowatts. So if there are open pairs, don't go to a pair with someone already there. If there are no open pairs, then it's fair game. Go wherever. I kept getting looks of, what are you doing, my first few times supercharging, because I was parking with someone when there were open pairs. I was just excited to own a Tesla, and I thought maybe this look was a nice car, man, but it wasn't at all. And I would just like wave and smile. Yeah, I feel so stupid now. But for 250 kilowatts, well, it doesn't matter. They don't share power in pairs, so just park wherever. They technically do share power like site-wide, but that's an entirely different topic. Now, for number 9, autopilot differences. I have mentioned this before, so I'll keep this brief. Every new Tesla purchase today comes with autopilot for free. This is, to put it simple, basically a smart cruise control. It will keep you centered in your lane while slowing down and speeding up based on the car in front of you. This is all it really does. When I first got my Tesla, which just had basic autopilot, I thought it would take left and right hand turns if I was like in that lane, like at a stoplight or something, and I turned it on. Like I thought that it would take the turn. And I even thought that it would stop at stoplights. It did not, and thankfully it was at night, so the roads were dead when I tested this. Wish someone had explained autopilot to me sooner. You have to buy the paid upgrades for your Tesla to do the fancy stuff, like automatically change lanes, stop at lights, take turns, roundabouts, etc. I'll have what the car can do based on whether you have enhanced autopilot or full self-driving on screen now, and you can cross-reference this with either your order or what your car says under the About screen. Now at the big 2-digit mark, number 10, I wish I had actually learned the voice commands way earlier. I had used the basic navigate me to like Target or Best Buy or something like that, and that was about it. But voice commands could do a whole lot more. I made a video on over 20 plus actually useful voice commands, none of which are the corny open butthole ones that you always see. That you can check out. Some of the ones that I've been using a lot are dome lights on/off for quickly controlling those lights, energy for letting me get a quick look at my efficiency, and even maxing out my wiper speed when they inevitably don't even turn on when it's pouring down rain at night. Seriously, Tesla, when are you gonna fix the wipers at night? They're awful. And like I said, those are just a few. Check out that video for more. Okay, so for number 11, carrying a backup key card. I was fully convinced when I was first purchasing that I would never need to carry the key card and my phone would be all I needed because the world is completely digital now and you barely have to carry a wallet with you anymore. Well, that was what I thought until I actually did need it. It's very rare, but can happen for Tesla's servers or whatever they use to experience problems. And when that does happen, your phone won't work, or at least mine didn't. Thankfully, though, by that time, I had started carrying the key card. I don't know why. I think it was because I had taken it to get Tint and PPF. So I needed the key card and I just left it in my wallet. But had I not had it with me, the story would have been completely different. If you're already carrying a wallet, it's going to add literally zero bulk to your EDC. So just carry it. And finally, number 12, I was debating on making an entire video on, but I feel like most people just need to know the basics. I wish I had known the basics before I got my Tesla. The differences between kilowatt, kilowatt hours, and how to read and understand the watt hours per mile on your car's energy screen. Kilowatt is a measurement of power, or the rate at which something uses electricity. Kilowatt hour is a measurement of capacity. When you pull up to a 250 kilowatt charger, it is using electricity at a rate of 250 kilowatts to replenish your battery. Your battery, being a form of storage or capacity, is in kilowatt hours. My car has a capacity of 82 kilowatt hours. And if you're wondering how you convert one to the other, well, converting kilowatt to kilowatt hours is actually pretty simple. Let's say you pulled in to a 250 kilowatt supercharger and it was able to do 250 kilowatts the entire time. No tapering or charging curve. After 1 hour of being plugged in to a 250 kilowatt charger, you would gain 250 kilowatt hours. Now, for watt hours per mile, this is a measurement of consumption. There are 1,000 watt hours per kilowatt hour. So if your energy consumption is 250 watt hours per mile, then you are going 4 miles per kilowatt hour. Those are the basics that I wish I had taken the time to learn and actually know before I started using the terms and, well, looking pretty stupid. But those are 12 things I wish I knew before purchasing my Tesla Model 3. If you have anything to add, drop a comment down below for others to see and hopefully help them out. If you are new to the channel and you want to see more Tesla related content like this video, then feel free to subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Drop a like if you enjoyed the video, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.